Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Pujantam Rama Rameti Madhuram Madhuraksharam Aruhya Kavita Shakham Vande Valmiki Kokilam Manojavam Marutatulya Vegam Jitendriyam Buddhimatam Varishtham Vatatmajam Vanarayutha Mukhyam Shri Ramadutam Shirasa Namami Apadam Apahartaram Dataram Sarvasampadam Lokabhiramam Shri Ramam Bhuyo Bhuyo Namamyaham Dakshine Lakshmano Yasya Vame Tu Janakatmaja Purato Marutir Yasya Tam Vande Raghunandanam. So we are in Kishkindha Kanda. Vali has been severely struck by Ramachandra's arrow. He is actually breathed his last. I can't remember if he breathed his last, but he is there, fainted. Tara is in severe agony of separation from Vali. And she expresses her lamentation and grief. And this chapter, chapter 24, starts with Sugriva, who is now going to express his grief, but more importantly, his regret. We will hear the kind of brotherhood Vali and Sugriva shared. Generally, when we hear the Ramayana, we have perhaps an incomplete, maybe a biased understanding of the brotherhood between Vali and Sugriva, because we've heard so far how things went bad between the two. But Sugriva is now going to relate that when things were good, how wonderful they were. Even when there was so-called animosity between the two, Sugriva was able to recognize his brother's affection for him. So it's coming up. But if we have to draw a nice backdrop for this, the Ramayana is a story of many lessons and principles of life. One of them is brotherhood. So Valmiki gives us three pairs of brothers, or three sets of brothers. One is Sri Ramachandra and his three brothers, Lakshmana, Bharata, and Shatrughna. The other set of brothers are Vali and Sugriva. And the third set is Ravana, Kumbhakarna, and Vibhishana. And there is a lot to learn from each of the three sets. Sometimes someone will say this is in the mode of goodness, mode of passion, mode of ignorance. Possible. That's also quite applicable in the modality of brotherhood or relationships among peers or between brothers, but basically siblings. Between Ramachandra and Lakshmana, or Ramachandra and Bharata, Although Ramachandra and Shatrughna is, although they're brothers, the relationship is in one sense indirect, which is the being the servant of the servant. However, the affection that was shared between the brothers or among the brothers, but we're going to focus on Ramachandra and Lakshmana primarily because they are front and center of the storyline for us. Lakshmana was only half a day younger than Sri Ramachandra, but for his entire life, he was just a worshipable master. Sri Ramachandra was. And Lakshmana considered himself a completely surrendered servant. Actually, in the entire Ramayana, there is hardly a time when Ramachandra and Lakshmana are not together. And even if such a situation does happen, very quickly Lakshmana is back with Ramachandra, and I'll point that out. From the time they were born till Lakshmana's very last moment of manifesting his pastimes, he was always by Ramachandra's side or always in Ramachandra's service. Always. Because more than physical proximity, or in addition to physical proximity, it's the service connection that's important. We call them Vapu and Vani. So Lakshmana is a representation of or a personification of bhakti in general, but particularly bhakti when one is in the presence of their worshipable Lord or spiritual master. In fact, Lakshmana calls Ramachandra that he is my guru. I am his disciple, which means that he treats Ramachandra as a father, as a spiritual master that he learns everything from. From the time they were born, if they were not in the same cradle, both of them would cry until they were put together. And same with Bharata and Shatrughna. So throughout Ramayana, we see Lakshmana's fantastic service attitude towards Ramachandra and Ramachandra's very amazing expression of the love between the two. In fact, Ramachandra, we talked about this verse way back in Aranya Kanda, I think, that when news of Dasharath Maharaja reaches Ramachandra, he tells Lakshmana, you have become, no, not news of Dasharath Maharaj, sorry. In one incident, Ramachandra tells Lakshmana, you have lost your father. And the Acharyas comment that Ramachandra feels sheltered by Lakshmana as a father would take care of his child. It's part of the loving nature in which Lakshmana would be very affectionate, almost like a parent to Ramachandra. And so instead of saying, we lost a father, he said, you lost a father. Why? Because Ramachandra did not feel the absence of his father. He saw the love of Dasharatha through Lakshmana. When Vali and Sugriva are concerned, although they're very, very close brothers, and we will hear Sugriva soon, there was a situation in which there was some tension. And later, things became such that very easily there was a misunderstanding. Now, it's not that misunderstandings don't happen between brothers. It's but natural. After all, two human beings living in the material realm, whether we like it or not, the waves of Maya will cause all sorts of opportunities for misunderstanding. It's possible. And in fact, we should not be surprised if that happens. In fact, we should be completely shocked if it doesn't happen. But the point is that a good relationship is where things can be worked out. Between Ramachandra and Lakshmana, there was there are incidences where things went perhaps awry. For example, when Lakshmana built the house, or Ramachandra asked him to build a house the way you like also, and immediately Lakshmana fell at Ramachandra's feet. That was the correcting method there. Another time, earlier than that, when they are in Chitrakuta, they see Bharata coming, and Lakshmana from atop a tree sees the huge flag of Bharata that has the Kovidara tree, and he says, Bharata is here to attack us. Tell me now, Ramachandra, I'll finish off Bharata, I'll finish off the entire Ayodhya. And Ramachandra says to him, Lakshmana, that's not Bharata. But it seems like you want the kingdom, so you take Ayodhya and I'll go with Bharata. Oh, no, 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 no. Not at all, not at all. Very quickly, it got resolved between the two. When Lakshmana left Sita Devi and came back, Ramachandra chastised him like anything. That you have ignored, you have said, you have violated my instruction. I told you not to leave her unprotected. But Lakshmana never carries anything in his heart, and things get very quickly settled between the two. When Vali and Sugriva, although there was a chance, Vali didn't give any opportunity. Now, very similar is between Ravana and Vibhishana. Ravana insulted Vibhishana. Vibhishana tolerated it. But when Ravana's son, Meghanad, or Indrajit, another name for him, he insulted Vibhishana, and Ravana did not say anything. In fact, Ravana felt, ha, that's correct. That is when Vibhishana left. Sometimes it is said that Vibhishana was exiled or kicked out of the kingdom. No. Vibhishana left on his own. Because Vibhishana, in the assembly of Ravana's followers and Ravana, used that phraseology, dhikkara. Dhikkara means shame on you, or how abominable. And that's when Vibhishana said, I should not stay here. If I stay here, things will get worse for everybody. And that's when he immediately left. In fact, he left so quickly, it says that he didn't even inform the rest of his family. He just left with 4 followers and went to Sri Ramachandra. So different sets of brothers or siblings, and how things go wrong or go right, and how they correct it is very, very important thread that passes through Ramayana. So now, after Tara has expressed her severe grief and anguish, Sugriva, who's standing there, was observing Tara, and he was crying tears of despair and anguish. Sa bhashpa purena mukhena, bhashpa purena mukhena. His face was completely wet with tears. Pashyan kshanena nivarnana mana manasvini. Mana manasvini. He saw Tara. And then Jagama Ramasya Shanaihi Samipam Bhrityehi Vrita Samparidu Yamana. Sugriva walked towards Ramachandra, where and all of his attendants also walked along with Sugriva. Then that wonderful, majestic arrow, snake-like arrow that was piercing Vali's heart. Sugriva looked at the arrow, looked at Sri Ramachandra, and said, "Oh Ramachandra, you have fulfilled your promise of giving me my kingdom, my wife back. But my heart is completely shattered because I have gained a kingdom and I've gained all this property and I've gained my wife back, but the price that I have gained it at is at the loss of my brother, because I was the one who got my brother killed. So now he's going through severe guilt and regret. And he's saying, when I'm looking at this king, so Vali here killed, and Tara is wailing in such severe separation, and I'm looking around, the entire Kishkindha kingdom is drowned in sadness. Angada is looking so morose. Ramachandra, my heart has no interest in enjoying the kingdom. Remember, it's a little parallel to how Arjuna speaks to Krishna. They're also their friends. Here also they're friends. And one there, Arjuna feels it before the war begins. Here, after Vali has been killed. And Arjuna says, what is the use of enjoying kingdom when the persons with whom I have to enjoy are not going to be there? And then Sugriva now is going through his regret, but being very specific and outlining what it is. He says, Krodhat amarshad ati vipradharshat bhratur vadho me anumatah purastat. I agreed for the killing of my brother. Anumatah purastat. Earlier, bhratur vadho me anumatah. I gave permission for my brother to be killed because of krodhat, anger, and amarshad, out of intolerance. I could not tolerate my pain. I could not tolerate that I was kicked out of the kingdom. So this revenge mentality made me want Vali to be killed. And now I am very, very morose and regretful. Hatetu idanim hari yuthape. Now that this king of the monkeys has been killed, asmin sutikshanaha, I have a very, very intense pratapyase. Pratapya is I'm being burnt by intense regret or remorse. And then he says, Ramachandra, actually, it would be better if I had just lived on top of Rishakamukha mountain forever, somehow in this condition. It didn't matter. And just spent my life like an ordinary monkey. But now, even if I were to achieve heaven after the killing of my brother, that heaven has no taste for me. I have no interest in it. In fact, Vali would be such that when he and I were fighting, he would be punching me like anything. But he would punch with such intensity where he knows that I would get hurt, but I would not die, because Vali has that power, that one punch and I would be dead. But he would hit me and then he would say, but I don't want to kill you. So go, get out of here. This shows what a great soul Vali was. And look at me, how terrible I am. That he was fighting with me but didn't want to kill me. And here I am, who desired that he should die. Ramachandra, how can I enjoy the kingdom? How can I enjoy the outcome of winning the kingdom at the cost of killing my brother? So part of grief is some things are repeated again and again, which is it is to indicate the intensity of the emotion. Is there any brother who can ever be glorious in this world who has wanted to kill his own brother? Can such a person ever be appreciated by anyone? And then he says, actually, Vali never wanted to kill me because he was a very Mahatma, great person. But I took that intention to kill him because I lost my own discrimination. I felt such severe pain that I felt that the only way that that pain can be satisfied or mitigated or satiated or whatever, the repairing is by killing Vali. When Vali would beat me with a tree or sticks or stones or whatever he would throw at me, and I would cry, oh, and I would moan because the pain with which it would hit me. Vali would immediately stop hitting me and said, "Okay, don't do this again. Get out. Huh? Don't you dare come and fight with me again. Get out of here." In that was his love for me. I'm recognizing that he could have killed me very, very easily, but he would just beat me up just so that I don't, I learn my lesson. But he never killed me, although he could have. And he says, he was very high-minded. I was very petty-minded. In fact, I behaved like a very ordinary, uncontrollable monkey. And Sugriva gives a reference to Indra killing Vishwarupa, the son of Twashta. In Bhagavatam, we know Vishwarupa and Indra were half brothers. But Indra got severe reaction for killing one a Brahmana and his own brother. And he says, but I too, and I too have now to deal with this severe, unimaginable reaction. But there's a difference between Indra and me. Because when Indra was dealing with his sinful reaction, there were other entities in the universe who accepted voluntarily parts or share of that sin. He says the earth took it, the water, the trees, and women. And in return, Indra blessed them that there will be certain, benefits or qualities that they will have. But for an ordinary monkey like me, who will share the sin? Meaning, the idea is not so much who will share my sin. What he's saying is that the burden of the sin is too heavy to bear. And Indra is a great personality, so others came to help. But I'm a monkey, mere monkey. Who will help me? So he says, after killing Vali, you think I'll be eligible to be the king of Kishkindha? No. The citizens will have absolutely no trust or faith in me. They will look at me as a felon, one who has committed such a bad act. And so this sin of mine, he says, is like, and he gives an analogy. I'm not sure I fully understand the picturization of the analogy, but I'll say it. If any of you would like to explain it, great. He says the sin of killing my brother is like a massive elephant. If you consider that as an elephant, then the bad mentality, the motive, the sinisterness of killing my own brother is like the behind of the elephant and its tail. And my causing agony to my own brother has become the elephant's head, eyes, trunk, and tusks. And this big elephant called sin is goading me as an elephant would goad a riverbed. So in one sense, he's saying that the act is perhaps small compared to the reaction that one is getting. So the idea is that this massive elephant, sometimes people think, I've also wrongly thought that, oh, it's a small offense, it's a small sin, so the reaction may also be small. Actually, we cannot necessarily evaluate something as small or big. We may not know, or we may wrongly assess something as small or sometimes big. Our problem is that we generally, I should say mine, not our, a conditioned soul assesses one's own mistakes as small and others' mistakes as big. When a sadhu looks at exactly the opposite way, they look at their own faults as very big and someone else's as very small. So here saying that the tail of an elephant is the smallest part, but the reaction of it is this entire elephant big. And I'm feeling the force of it because the head, the act, the intention that I had, the head is like how an elephant digs up or disturbs the riverbed. As soon as an elephant enters, even a clear river, because of its massive size and the way it enters and digs the riverbed, all the dirt comes up and the river looks very muddy. So he says the sin is too much to bear, Ramachandra. I think if you look, even Angada, he's looking at me with such angry eyes that anything can happen. Rather, where will I get a son like Angada that Vali has had? Because of Vali's greatness, he has a son like Angada. And where else can I have a brother like Vali? It'll never be possible. And if you look at Angada, he cannot live without his father. But Tara has to live to take care of her son Angada. But if Angada dies out of a heartbreak, then even Tara will die. So my one act has not only killed Vali, but potentially I can see that Angada, Tara also will die, and with that the entire kingdom will also be lost. Therefore, I think the better thing for me to do right now is enter fire and go to where my brother has gone. But Ramachandra, please don't worry. Even if I am dead, your mission of finding Sita will be taken care of by all these monkeys. That will continue. Please don't be worried about it, or don't feel any sense of, Arey, what will happen to me? And when Ramachandra heard these words of Sugriva, Ramachandra had tears in his eyes, meaning the love of Sugriva, as he expressed, the love between Vali and Sugriva was such that it could move Sri Ramachandra's heart. And this is the nature of a devotee, that Ramachandra feels, Sugriva's heart has not become hardened or is not burning with revenge. Because Sugriva could have also said, finally, Vali is dead. Thank you, Ramachandra. You've removed a thorn from a path of dharma. Fantastic. In one sense, that would have been right too. But that's not the heart of a devotee. Here we are being shown by Valmiki how Sugriva's heart is, and how such a heart brings tears in Ramachandra's eyes. Who Ramachandra is being called here, I'll read the Sanskrit, it's really nice. Iti evam artasya raghu praviraha shrutva Artasya, Sugriva's words which are full of distress, Artha. We hear in Bhagavad Gita, Arto Artharthi. Artha is distress. Shrutva Vacho Vali Jaganya Jasya. Having seen Vali's younger brother. Here, Valmiki is referring to Sugriva as Vali's younger brother. Very beautiful, because the whole conversation has been about Vali. And so the greatest title Sugriva got in this verse by Valmiki is Vali's younger brother, to be referred to as or in relation to someone very dear. Although the Supreme Lord has many, many names, unlimited names, the dearest and the most love-evoking names are names in relation to those he loves. Actually, in Ramaraksha Stotra, that's coming up a verse. But calling Krishna Yashodanandana, Devaki Nandana, Nandanandana, Radha Priya, these are all ways in which it evokes a special affection. So here, Sugriva is being referred to as Vali Jaganya Jasya, one who was born later or younger brother. Having heard Sugriva's word, Sanjata Bhashpa Paraviraha Hantaha. Although on one hand, Ramachandra is being called Paravira Hanta, who can easily kill hundreds and hundreds of great warriors. Sanjata Bhashpa. So there is this paradox. The greatest of warriors who can kill anyone had tears in his eyes. Sanjata Bhashpa. Ramo Muhurta Vimana Babhuva. Vimana means for a moment his heart became disturbed. So even Ramachandra, especially it's about brothers. So Ramachandra is very focused on anyone who speaks about brotherhood or sibling relationships. In general, about relationships. And one who has a sense of regret or contrition that, oh, maybe I contributed to the problem too. It's my mistake. These things move Ramachandra's heart. Then Ramachandra, who was as tolerant as the earth, who saw Tara, who's also crying there. He went towards Tara. And with very, very pleasing, beautiful eyes, Sri Ramachandra saw Tara hugging the mighty, gigantic body of Vali. And when she saw Ramachandra standing there, not far from her, with a very beautiful bow and arrow in his hands, and he was shining like the sun, Tara looked at Sri Ramachandra, that now she recognized that this is Ramachandra. First, when she had heard that Vali was killed, we remember the verse, she crossed Ramachandra and Lakshmana and Sugriva and went to Vali. At that time, she didn't even recognize, because her whole mind was so disturbed about Vali being killed or hurt, that she ran to check. Her love for Vali was so intense that she didn't notice Ramachandra. Now she looks and says, oh, what an amazing personality standing here with all wonderful qualities and attributes. Then Tara is under a severe bout of grief, and she says, Ramachandra, I have no reason to live. And she says, Tvam. Now she knows that Ramachandra has killed Vali, but Tara has no anger. This is the nature of Lord Ramachandra. Anybody who comes, even one who's been offended by Ramachandra, who in his presence only glorifies him. So this is a very famous verse. Tvam aprameya cha durasadaha cha jitendriyaha cha uttama dharmaka cha Akshinaha kirti cha vichakshanaha cha kshiti kshamavan kshatajopama akshaha. Ramachandra, tvam aprameyaha. Aprameya means you are incomparable to anyone, and you're also not someone who is easily understood, or you're beyond, is the word for adhokshaja, you're beyond one's mind and intelligence and senses. Durasadaha. Durasada means not easily accessible. Now, Ramachandra is very easily accessible. What she means is common people, because they have Maya as a curtain, although you're right there, you're inaccessible. He's sitting in the heart. How far is the Supreme Lord from the living entity? He's in the heart of the living entity. Yet, tadure ta antike. For those who realize, he's very close, and those who don't know, he feels very far. Jitendriyasya, all your senses are very controlled. So she's not saying, Ramachandra, you shot an arrow at Vali. There's a lot of explanation, which I'm not going to go to. You shot an arrow at Vali, but Jitendriya means it didn't come from a whimsical or just for the sake of it. Jitendriya, your senses are very controlled. Uttama dharmakaha cha, you are the supremely evolved dharmika person. So what you have done, indirectly what you have done of killing Vali, I don't hold you as wrong. It's dharmically what you have done is right. Akshinaha kirti, your glory never diminishes. Kshina means to reduce. In Bhagavad Gita, Kshine punye martilokam vishanti. When one's stockpile of punya is reduced or diminished, one comes back to the earthly realm. Akshinaha kirtihi. Your glory never reduces. It means the opposite. It's always increasing. Cha vichakshanaha. You're very, very keen. You're able to look at a situation and decipher dharmically the right, the wrong, what should be done, what should not be done. Most people in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Kavayo api atra mohitaha. Even the greatest of persons are bewildered that in a situation, kim kurvataha, kim akurvataha, what should be done, what should not be done. Kavayo api atra mohitaha. Yet you are vichakshana, very, very keen. Your intelligence and wisdom is very keen. Cha kshiti kshamavan. You are forgiving and forbearing like the earth. And kshatajopama akshaha. Your eyes are wide with little red streaks in them. And the red streaks, according to Govinda Raja, is that he will not tolerate anyone who violates dharma. Or another way of understanding is any devotee who is being tormented or attacked by someone else, the Lord will not tolerate. He will always protect his devotees. So for us, it's a great assurance even when we remember him as Kshatajo Pama Akshaha, that we are assured of his protection. Narsingha Chaturdashi is coming up, and it's all about how Prahlad Maharaj felt protected by Shri Narsinghadev. And so this verse has, every word has meanings in it. I'm going to skip that for now. And so she now goes through why Vali was wrong, and unfortunately, but rightfully, got punished for his behavior and mentality. Then Sri Ramachandra consoles both Tara and Sugriva, and just by his few words of consoling them, both of them are situated back in proper consciousness. And this is how both of them are put back into how they can live their life without, while honoring who Wali was in their life and what Wali's contribution was, but without so much grief that they cannot, that they will become oblivious to their duties and what they need to do in their lives. So let's see if there's any questions or comments.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, thank you so much for nice class. Could you speak some details about Vali and Sugriva? Were they half brothers? Because the analogy that was given was that of Indra and his half brother, Indra killing his half brother. That is one question. And second is, I was just not so much of a question. I was appreciating Tara, in spite of her emotions running so high and she's in such deep distress, she is able to recognize the elevated position of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Ramachandra, and she's nicely glorifying him and not finding faults in him. She's nicely saying that her husband was at fault and Lord Ramachandra rightly executed Vali.
So there is a, thank you. Vali and Sugriva, if I'm not wrong, and if Shamkun's there, he can correct me, were born from the same mother but different fathers, like Surya and Indra. Very similar to how three of the Pandavas, actually, or five, three of them were born to Kunti, but Dharmaraj, Vayu, and Indra gave Yudhishthir Maharaj, Bhima, and Arjuna. And in Madri came the Ashwini Kumara's expansion as Nakula and Sahadeva. I don't have an exact reference of which book, but apparently there is a verse that says, Ahalya Draupadi Tara Sita Mandodari Tatha Panchakanya Pathet Nityam Duhswapnam Tasya na Pashyati. That one who regularly studies the character and lives of these five women, Ahalya, Draupadi, Tara, Sita, Mandodari, Panchakanyaha Pathet Nityam, one who studies regularly about these five women, Duswapnam, will never have nightmares or bad dreams, as they say. Tasya na pashyati. Tara is a very, very, very great lady, extremely wise. And this wise woman now, later in the past time, actually saves. She tried to save Vali from dying. He didn't listen, but he died. She saved Sugriva from dying, or at least the threat, because Lakshmana is carrying Ramachandra's message and coming into Kishkindha, and it is Tara who saves Sugriva from severe embarrassment, punishment, and perhaps even death.
Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, this is Chandan here. Thank you, Prabhuji, for the nice class. Am I audible, Prabhu?
Yes, yes.
So, Prabhuji, yeah. Now, Prabhuji, you are like correlating Bali, Sugriv and Lord Ramchandra, both friends, and Lord Krishna and Arjuna, both are friends, and both were in the same conditions, mental status, regarding the mental
Similar.
status. You are
Similar.
correlate, yeah, similar. So now this is the similarity. Then how can I understand, Prabhuji, what is the difference between the Arjuna and Sugriva?
Why do we need to understand the difference between the two?
Prabhuji, if some similarities there, some differences should be there.
Yeah, I mean, I highlighted. I think what's important for us to understand is the thread of this difference is one is a Vanara, other is a Kshatriya prince. One is Surya's son, the other is Indra's son. Here, Vali is already dead. There, the war is about to begin, etc. So there are that kind of differences. But I think what's more important is that both Arjuna and Sugriva, perhaps in different chronology of the event, are recognizing that having relatives or relationships are more valuable than possessions. Arjuna, in one sense, recognizes it at the point where the war is about to begin. That no, these relationships are more important. What I'm going to get is the possessions, the things, the kingdom, even going to heaven is not so important. Sugriva is realizing it sort of after the fact. Regardless, it's the same, that conditioned souls have a tendency to place greater value at thing or in things and possessions and positions and dominance versus people or I'm saying relatives in the sense of in relationships. And Ramayana is a relationships scripture. Everywhere relationships. Now, Ramachandra left the kingdom for the sake of the relationship with his father and Kaikeyi, his mother, and for those two. For Ramachandra, that was more important. Sugriva realizes it sort of after the fact. After Vali has been killed, he says, "Oh, I lost a brother, more valuable." And because of such realization, it moves Ramachandra's heart. That, yeah, you've understood that people are more important. Does that help in any way? Did I miss your question completely?
No, Prabhuji, I understood. I understood both the moods are same.
Similar.
Similar. Arjuna was also very grief, and like he was not willing to kill anyone, and but before killing, Arjuna understood. But Sugriva understood this. He got the grief after killing of the Bali.
And then after the war, Yudhishthir Maharaj is plunged into severe grief, and he goes through what Sugriva is going through in one sense.
Yes, yes.
That why I don't want this kingdom anymore. What for one person like me to be on the throne? Look at the price everyone has to pay. And then Bhishma Deva gives Yudhishthir Maharaj some solace and comfort.
Yes, Prabhuji. So, Prabhuji, for this complete 40 minutes class, Prabhuji, the takeaway for me is like what you told. Sugriva could have told, Bali was killed. It's my biggest enemy. I will get my kingdom back and my wife. Though he got it, but he didn't rejoice it. After that, after the killing of the Bali, his heart was very grieved. So the devotee's heart should be like this. We should have some compassion in our heart, as told Yudhishthira Maharaj was also feeling the same. So this is the sign of, or the heart of the devotee should be like this.
Yeah, hopefully we don't get it after our brother is killed, but before.
Yes,
we don't have to go through and lose those who are dear and then say, oh. So this, in Sugriva's life, we're being taught to hopefully avoid those situations.
Yes, thank you very much.
All right, the real nectar, Shamakun.
Not nectar. I just wanted to just accentuate what you already said.
Yeah.
This first chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, where we find the despondency of Arjuna, and in which, through the writings of Srila Prabhupada, Arjuna's despondency is not like that of an ordinary living entity. And he says that Arjuna is already a realized soul. Then why is he despondent like that? So he says this is a natural characteristic. And if you look at it little, if you go back in the history, it turns out that one of the earliest commentators, that is Sripad Shankaracharya, he, in his commentary, he has not brought out the greatness of Arjuna. That he's an eternally liberated person as such. He in his commentary, he said that Arjuna fell prey to the shortcomings of a normal human being. And in response to that, Madhvacharya actually, in one sense, is the first person amongst the Vaishnava commentators to very strongly come out and say, no, this is not an ordinary kind of a lamentation. And so following him, his next in lineage, Jayatirtha, maybe I have his writing in front of me, I'll just read it out. He writes it very nicely, telling what Madhvacharya intended. Jayatirtha says, Sripad Jayatirtha says, noble-minded persons, however deep, long-standing and righteous may be their indignation against their kith and kin who have wronged them in the past beyond endurance, are prone to relent towards such offending relatives when such relatives are facing the prospect of imminent death or destruction. Their noble minds are moved at such times by a strange forgiveness towards such unworthy kith and kin, which almost clouds their judgment for the time being. So that's one point which he had said, and like what you were speaking about, Madhvacharya also says the second point, that this predicament or despondency comes in saintly personalities as a means to receive further instruction from Krishna or Krishna's representatives. Just saying that, like you're just echoing what Madhvacharya's words are saying. That's thank you.
Where is Madhvacharya? Where is some buffalo? Come on. But thank you. Thank you. I mean, you're putting me in the same sentence as Madhvacharya.
I mean, for me, I could connect because because when you are repeating, I mean, whatever you spoke about, the statement about forgiving what happens with siblings and a person values relationships more. You mentioned the same in the previous session too. And then when I came across this passage, then it struck me all the more too. Thank you.
If anything worth, one second, Madhava Priya, if anything worthwhile came out of my mouth is definitely Sri Hanumanji's mercy. Today I was going to be late. I hadn't slept. I went to bed very late in the night, and my head was completely cloudy. So all I had to do is fall at Hanumanji's feet and say, "Please help." So anything, completely His mercy. Not just today, week after week. It is His grace singularly. Thank you. Yes, Madhurpriya.
Yes, Prabhu, Hare Krishna. I have
Haribo.
a question.
Yes.
So, you said that Tara was a very great lady. So, usually when a great person is there and we get the association of a great person, we get little qualities of the great person. So, why didn't Vali get a little bit of good qualities from Tara?
So when we have a service attitude, then we get those qualities. It's not just by physically being in the presence. We also need an internal orientation. The words in Sanskrit that we have used to by Rupa Goswami giving us is Bahirmukha. Bahirmukha means face turned away from. And facing someone is Abhimukha, face to face, or internally oriented in a way that we can receive from a person who wants to give. So Vali loved Tara very much. And when Tara advised, Vali heard what she said, but for him, the challenge from Sugriva had to be accepted. He felt that the Sugriva needs to learn a lesson. And when he is challenging me to come, how as a Kshatriya can I not take the challenge? So he placed more value in that principle than listening to Tara. Now, the same question would be, Tara is a great soul, no doubt. Vali didn't benefit. Duryodhana was standing and related to Krishna. They were also related, just the way Yudhishthir Maharaj and Arjuna were all related to Krishna. Duryodhana is also related, but no effect on Duryodhana. In fact, it had the opposite effect. Krishna and Shishupal were related, but Shishupal was like venomous, completely dead against Krishna. So it's not just how close one is, but how close one is from a heart perspective. Okay?
Yes, Prabhuji, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, there's a comment here. Oh, someone else has a hand up. Akhila Dhara Prabhu. Akhila Adhara Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dhanvat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, you spoke about like one point where you mentioned that the red eyes linings in the eyes of Lord Ramchandra mentioned that Lord Ramchandra not tolerate anyone who violate dharma. So in the conditioned state, I see that my life is all fully adharmic. So where can I seek refuge or shelter? So what? How?
At the feet of Ramachandra's devotees. And they help us through. I mean, it's not that Ramachandra is intolerable. The verse already has Kshiti. Where is that verse? He is tolerant as the earth, and then the next verse is that his eyes are red like so we are also very fortunate that he is very tolerant here. Kshiti Kshamavan. He is forgiving and forbearing like the earth. And then the verse says Kshatajopama Akshaha. But his also eyes are red. So the idea is that Ramachandra is not so easily disturbed. Oh, adharma, I'm going to kill you. That is not the nature. Ramachandra, when he sees us perform something that is not in dharma, because when a person does something adharmic, a person is hurting oneself and hurting others. At that time, Ramachandra will help in a way that one comes to the awakening that, oh, I made a mistake. That is his intolerance, if you will. It happens in different ways. As devotees, if you are under the shelter of his devotees, it's not that suddenly out of the blue an arrow will come. Of course, if you're fortunate, an arrow, but that's not what we want. We don't want pratikula bhakti, we want anukula bhakti. So Ramachandra will correct us through his devotees. But the verse is for us to feel protection, because in Sharanagati, one feels that the Lord is his only protector. And to know that he is always watching over us. That is why the reference is to the eye. Kshatajopama Pama Akshaha. He's always watching over us and protecting us. And we don't have to be afraid of some calamity or this thing or that. Not that calamities don't happen, but that our bhakti will get all destroyed. We don't have to worry, because that red lines in his eyes are to tell us, I'm there to protect you. I hope it satisfies you.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
All right. Someone else? Mahati?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. So I was remembering that later Sugriva gets very busy enjoying his kingdom and he forgets to help Lord Rama find Mother Sita. So I was wondering now he was thinking that he doesn't want the kingdom, but later he gets very busy. That's one thing, Prabhuji.
Very good
And
point.
next question is, like, in that 6 months period, did Tara reminded Sugriva about helping finding Mother Sita?
4
And-
months,
Oh, 4 months.
4-month period.
Yeah. And how
Tara did not remind, although here's what has actually happened. Sugriva had asked for all the monkeys from across the planet to come to Kishkinda. But he never communicated that to Ramachandra or Lakshmana. And because the monkeys are yet to come, anyway, rainy season, nothing's going to happen. Ramchandra is going to live in the cave in Mount Prasavana. So he said, hey, rainy season, enjoy time. And then when rainy season finished, he didn't realize. In a conditioned soul, it's a common phenomena. We have a wrong assessment of time. We say, oh, this thing will take half an hour and I'll be done. And we get absorbed in something else and lose track of time. Sugriva lost track of time and didn't communicate that I've invited all the monkeys. There, Ramachandra gave him 2 months, it became 4 months. And he's thinking, I don't know where Sita is. Is she dead? Is she alive? Is Rakshasa some eaten away? How am I going to find out where she is? Plus, the clock is ticking that he has to go back to Bharata. And he wants Sugriva, more importantly, to stand and fulfill his promise. Otherwise, Sugriva will become degraded for having given a word and not lived on that word.
Thank you, Prabhuji. I was also thinking that, like, when I go through some difficult or things are going, when in that grief time, I also feel like I don't want anything, and then later I also get busy with what I get in my life or the gifts that Krishna gives, and I forget Krishna or reciprocating to Krishna. So I just was thinking how to constantly remember.
Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur has a phrase called Markata Vairagya, monkey renunciation. Very applicable here. I mean, not in what you're saying, but here Sugriva is saying, I don't want this kingdom, or monkey renunciation in one sense. Of course, he's Ramachandra's very dear associate. So I don't mean it in a negative way, this sort of tongue-in-cheek way. But the point is, this bhoga tyaga is the feature of being in this material world. Rupa Goswami tells us right in the preface to Nectar of Devotion. We all are victims of it, or victims to it, that bhoga tyaga, we go through cycles of enjoying to such a degree that I don't want it, I don't want any of this. And then back again, bhoga tyaga is that cycle, the toggle switch, on off. So tyaga has to come from a place of security in one's relationship with the Supreme Lord. Then it is factual and substantial. Otherwise, it is only circumstantial. Okay, should we move on? You have something else, Mahati?
That's it, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Okay, Paramakarana.
Yes, Prabhu.
Last one, and then we'll end here. Yes, Prabhu.
Please accept my humble obeisances, Bhagash Prabhupada. So you just before a few minutes you raised a point that Tyaga should be in relation to the our surrender to Supreme Lord. So that was not my question, but it was very, very profound statement you made, that Tyaga should be in relation to the surrender to Supreme Lord. That means it should come automatically. We don't have to try it, right?
On the strength of that, more than automatically, we can say our Tyaga is in proportion to our connection with the Supreme Lord.
Yeah,
Meaning,
so
if I have 10 units, I don't mean to make it quantified this way, but just for the sake of explanation, if I have 10 units of connection with the Lord, I can only express 10 units or some such, there must be some constant, so some variable by which I can express that surrender. I cannot expect that I have 10 units of connection, but 500 units of surrender. It's not, it'll be artificial, it'll break like anything, it'll shatter.
sure. Thanks. It makes sense, Prabhu. Thank you so much. First of all, I'm very sorry. I'm in a specific time, so I cannot attend your class fully. But the second question is that it's not a question, more or less it's comment. But I was just understanding the Tara's role, that how she is adjusting the situations. First, she was with Vali, and she was totally supporting the Vali. Now it's time to play a role with Sugriva. She has totally diverted herself to Sugriva. I think it's a very hard, and it's admirable that what she is doing. It's completely impossible for a common human to behave like this, or animal.
We should not assume that somehow she has forgotten Vali. That will not be right. Although Vali has a very indelible place in her heart, she is also very protected by Sugriva and is very dutiful to Sugriva as well. And therefore, it is hard to fathom these great ladies. And that's the verse that the 5 women that one who regularly meditates on will not have any bad dreams. I mean, we can spend more time talking about Tara, but I don't think we have for today's session that much time. Draupadi was with 5 husbands. I mean, doesn't fit.
Yeah, it fit. Draupadi is a fire husband, but she is a Draupadi. She is
She is Tara. She came from the churning of the milk ocean. They're great ladies.
Okay, no comments.
All right. There's a comment.
Sorry, Prabhu. So I understood 4 other Ahalya, Draupadi, and Tara. How about Mandodari? She has only Ravana as her husband.
I mean, you would like women who have multiple husbands here? I don't think that's the.
All other places, it is the.
No, Sita is also here. Sita is also in this.
I mean, she was in Lanka for some time, and I thought that gave.
No.
No, I mean, not like that.
No, not because of that at all. I'm sorry. I guess interrupting what you're saying because each of these personalities are very unique and special in their own right. That verse will take a lot of unpacking because you have to go through the life of each person. Mandodari was very, very forgiving, even after Ravana's so many mistakes. Now, those mistakes were not, that he beat someone up or he killed someone or illegally took away their possessions. He went and defiled other women. And Mandodari was forgiving. Yet we hear at the end, if by their grace when we come to Yuddha Kanda, we will hear Mandodari's realizations at that time. Until then, she's mysterious or enigmatic.
Yes, Prabhuji. I just want to ask forgiveness. I meant like
she
is so pure. Mother Sita is very pure in spite of under like so much of difficulty she has gone through in Lanka due to Ravana. But later we know that how she has to go through the fire, purifying herself, prove herself she is very pure. So I was just thinking that.
Oh,
that, like,
sorry. Maybe I misunderstood. I jumped the gun. But thank you for clarifying that.
thank you, Prabhuji.
Hey, here's a final comment from Twins. I really appreciated your point on misunderstanding among siblings is natural and it will actually be strange if they are not there. And that's true for any relationship. Being twins, it's hard to cope up when something really big happens, as you know. Sometimes relation is so close that we think there is no need for a personal space. Okay, thank you for the comment. But I'm not sure if sometimes we feel there's no need for a. So thank you for clarifying it as sometimes. I would be concerned if it says we never need any personal space. But yeah, sometimes maybe sure. There's the strength of relationship is such. Okay, thank you very much. I went longer than I had planned, but thank you. And I don't think we are meeting next week. It's Nrsimha Chaturdashi next week, and we have a wedding going on. There's a lot happening. So we will not meet next week. We will meet the week after. Oh, I'm reminded that we won't be meeting the week after, but let's see. I'm holding on to a thin string of hope, but let's see. Oh yeah, we're out of town. So I'll get back to you on an alternate date for our next meeting. Thank you. Until then, Shri Sitaram Lakshman Hanu.